you doing, my friends? Well, it seems like a long time. I'm not tied my soul to the downward grind.
Hey, Tony talking trash here today, and we are going to do another ranking of the records. I decided to skip ahead. I know I mentioned about Marvin, and we'll get to Marvin soon, but I went ahead. I'm going to go ahead and go to Sly and the Family Stone first. Sly and the Family Stone, of course, the San Francisco band led by Sly Stone, the ever elusive Sly Stone. I guess that's a good way to talk about it because there are various periods in his career where the biggest thing has been people trying to find him and find what's going on. He seems to go into hiding quite often. And I guess everybody's got their way of dealing with fame, and his has been, unfortunately, a lot of it's been done in public, and so he wanted to get away from the public. You can't blame him that. The great band has spawned a lot of great players. You know, the great Freddie Stone, Sly Stone, Rose Sloan, Larry Graham, who went off with Graham Central Station before long, Cynthia Robinson, stalwart till the end, a cognitive part that trumpet, a cognitive part of some of their sound, and you know the mixed race aspect of it. Jerry Martini and Greg Errico, who was a funky white boy drummer who played in the original band. Some other people that came along: Mary McCreary, lady, later Elva Moten, Andy Newmark, of course, the great Andy Newmark plays on Fresh. We'll talk about that later. And actually, Bill Lorden, the guy, believe it or not, the strangest combination he had was Bill Lorden, who ended up playing, as some of you rock people may know, he was a stalwart member of I keep saying the word stalwart, a consistent member of the Robin Trower group. He played with Trower. So, but anyway, lots of good records, lots of things to go on. So, you know, Sly, general thing about their career that, you know, they started off pretty bizarrely. Their first record really isn't that commercial. It's a nice mixture of things. It's a little bit different later on. Later on, you got some different sounds, and they worked themselves into the pop sound right away with Dance to the Music. It started in, I guess, 1967 on Epic were the first recordings. Slide, of course, but was a known DJ before that. Their highest charting ones, I guess, were here. There was a Ride going on in Fresh. Both were number one R&B records, and There's a Ride Going On was a number one U.S. record. Stand, of course, big one. Small Talk, big two here. You talk about the greatest hits record, of course, was number two. The big singles, Dance to the Music, reached number 8. Everyday People was a number one song. Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself, or however it is, how you want to say that, number one. Family Affair also number one single in 1971, which is somewhat surprising. I Love Running Away. That charted at 23. If You Want Me to Stay, of course, was a big funky hit later that came a little bit later with that Newmark drumming and such. But I remember going to Todd Rundgren's shows at the time. He used to play that record before he came on stage. People dug it. I don't think they really knew what it was. But let's go on here, and let's start in 1982 with probably the last one, and maybe regretfully I don't know if you want to consider this a record, but it was released under his name. Sly and the Family Stone, Ain't But the One Way. This is the record that was started and promised with George Clinton when George Clinton was signed to Warner Brothers when he did the Cinderella Theory, and I forget what the other one was at the time. At that time, he did a combination with Prince, I think. Maybe that was the one. But this is one where he started the record, and then when Clinton left, he disappeared. So they get somebody in here to get the situation together. I guess the guy's name is Stuart Levine, and he tries to pull together this record. And so, he is okay. Loving You is all right. It's a little bit long. I like Who the Funk Do You Think They Are, although it's kind of silly. Sylvester's not bad, but it's not really Sly. And I would give it 2 stars here. The record did not chart, released 1982. Let's go on to the next one, which is again one of the later ones here. We are now at number 9, Back on the Right Track, which I have here in its cellophane still. Back on the Right Track did chart. It did chart only in number 152. It's another one of the Warner Brothers records. It's the first one. Remember Who You Are is nice. It's Not Adding Up is a good track here. Sheer Energy is a good closer for this. But truthfully, Very, very disappointing. And the thing that's so disappointing about it, it is so freaking short. It's only 26 minutes long. You know, it's amazing that at 26 minutes long, this is not number 10, but it's number 9. It's number 9. That tells you how bad the other one is. It's not really a Sly record. It's not that it's bad. It's just obviously not him. You can hear it. I mean, you can hear the imitation thing. And so let's keep going on with the other ones, the other later ones. And number 8 is one, Joe, that I don't have now, is the debut here, 1967's A Whole New Thing. And that's really early going stuff. I do have the record. I don't know where it is. It's the one where Sly's big and the band small. It's like Rose wasn't even in the band yet. There's the one with Underdog and then Dog and Bad Risk. That kind of person's good. I mean, I like it a lot, but it was not commercial. They didn't really promote it as commercial, and it was kind of a local thing, really. I mean, people you didn't really. Didn't really work it out, and really, rather than Sly taking the whole thing, it's all the lead vocals are really carved up pretty evenly between him and Freddie, and Larry Graham took some, and that Rose wasn't in it, so it sounds a little bit different, and it's okay, but the stuff wasn't together yet. Let's get back to number 7 here, 1976 is Heard You Miss Me, and this is going to be a 3-star one. This one at least is okay. There's some semblance of the band. You can see Rose here in the back, and Cynthia here looking. But Heard You Miss Me While I'm Back's good. Everything in You's killer. There's a couple really good. Sexy Situations good too. What Was I Thinking in My Head's great. But Family Again, that's an okay closer, but they tried to push it together. There's some people here that, there's some reunions, some different members came back. Well, once again, not really anything like the original. They're trying to get back, but it didn't last long. Like some of these, you always hear there was a buzz around these later ones, and then to me, it always died off. I don't know about this one, but the ones later, there was so many stop and starts. But anyway, that's number 76. That was one of the ones that after I'd say his hot period. That's the first one after it when he was kind of fading out from it. And there was a lot of rumors going on and such, but that was done in December of 1976. And it charted on the R&B, but did not chart on the pop charts. And let's go now to another one that's really not a pop record, 1968's Life. This is a different record. Dynamite, Chickens, Fantastic Plastic Jim. But this is really, Jane is a groupie. It's a little bit different than things. And this record recorded as I think this was the one that was recorded. Let me check here and verify that. But I think this was the one that was recorded live in the studio. And Milady, of course, is a big one. And it's okay record. It's just there's a lot of good samples you'll recognize here too from some hip hop stuff later, but it was not quite cracking where things were. And surprisingly, they had pop success before this and after this. But anyway, that's number 6. Now we get into the pop success, and we got Dance to the Music. Do you want this cover or do you want this cover? Which one do you want? Tell me. But they're both the same record. Dance to the Music, of course, the big hit. Dance to the Medley. They kind of wrote it out long. One Higher is in there. It's fantastic. All those would become staples and be known as at the Woodstock and other places as huge crowd energy pumping stuff. Classic music. Other than that, there's a little Ain't Got Nobody for Real is decent, but the second side is a little bit some of it's good, but I think it does not have the punch of the first side. Side 1 is very, very strong. And I think it's a little bit of a slightly lopsided record, and that's why I have it down at number 5. Number 4 comes the Torrential. Now we get into really good territory. We're into 4-star territory, and Dance to the Music was a 4-star record. This also is a 4-star record. This is Stand. Stand is fabulous. You've got Don't Call Me Nigger Whitey on this. You've got I Want to Take You Higher. You've got Everyday People. You Can Make It If You Try, and their version of Sex Machine, which I think is the only thing, in my opinion, that holds this record back. I love the rest of it. Every record, Someone's Watching You is great. Sing a Simple Song. I mean, this is a classic. Freddie, Rock, Larry, Cynthia, Greg, and Jerry, and they're going, man. The same band going and pumping. Stan, this is their first stand of that 1969, a classic record and a record really took a lot of took a big step forward and really presented a sound, a together biracial sound, a bi-ethnic sound, a bi-genre sound that had never been presented before. And you have this band come and playing this stuff at these big festivals where everybody else is playing heavy rock. You've got Hendrix and the Who and everybody, and you have Sly and that Family Stone for everybody to groove. Everybody loved it. People were a lot more open then. Let's talk about number three, which might surprise you. Number three, Small Talk from 1974. I love this record, man. A lot of people are not crazy about it. I understand that. They would have it flipped with Stan and dance to music and maybe even Life. I've seen people have this as low as number six. But to me, Small Talk, Mother Beautiful, Can't Strain My Brain, Loose Booty. I mean, oh my God, Wishful Thinking, Better Thee Than Me. I just love the grooves. This record is groove packed. This record has the great band in it. And it just, Cynthia Robinson here, Rose Stone Banks, Jerry Martini, Sid Page, Bill Lorden. This is the record with Bill Lorden. Who's Bill Lorden? Bill Lorden went on to play with Robin Trower. This is right before Robin Trower. This is 1974. This is almost concurrently with Bridge of Sighs in that. So he may have already been playing it at that time. But nevertheless, he's there. Val Stewart, Pat Rizzo. So another fantastic band. I think it's highly underrated. This is where he was participated in some big marriage or something. I don't remember. But this is a period of time when the stuff started getting weird. You had some cancellations. You had some strange goings on that had started and actually started in the situation before, which is 1973. And now we're talking fresh. And this, my friend, oh my God! To me, this contains the greatest moment. To me, In Time is the moment, the Sly and the Family Stone moment. If you want to see the mature, in your face Sly and the Family Stone, just flaunting it, man. I was told, in books, I've seen it written in more than one book, that In Time made Miles Davis lose his mind. Miles Davis fell out over it. Miles Davis couldn't deal with it. Now Miles Davis, anybody that was around Miles at the time, he played this kind of like Brian Wilson played Be My Baby all the time, over and over and over. If you want me to stay, then to follow that, let me have it all. This Andy Newmark's just fantastic on this. I don't know, Satisfaction, Keep on Dancing. A weirdo moment on this case, Sarah, but it doesn't ruin it for me. It's kind of a break until the build up to Babies Making Babies. I mean, this is just he's up and he's kicking, man, because he's a badass MFer, man. This is awesome. This is a 5-star record, and this, fortunately for everyone, is not the only 5-star record he has, because he has the equally strange and equally brilliant and equally progressive and equally whatever you want to call this, man. There's a ride going on. There's only one of these, man. This is one of the records that there's only one of. You're never going to find anybody else in this position to drag himself to the finish line and present himself the way that Sly did on this record. This record is superb. I love every single song on it. I love the fact that you look here and on the record itself, and you've got the inside concert shot right here. And you open it up inside, and you have you want to call it drugged out? You want to call it perplexed? You want to call it the end of the 60s? I don't know what to do. But this is one of the records that put a dagger in the 60s. Let's start on side one. Let's look at side one here of this record to start with. You've got Love and Hate. Love and Hate is a fantastic, dissolute problem here with this song. And then you've got Just Like a Baby, where you quickly realize the imbalance of some of the mixing. And that's what I used to love. There's a band called The Fall, and I did a while ago, I did a countdown. We're going to present that at some point. It's going to be a lot of work since I didn't have the records with me to show the covers, so we'll have to get them all together. It's going to take a little while, but That's one of the things that makes some of their records so great, is that I enjoy about it. It's things are, and this record was clearly, some things were pushed way up front, some things were pushed back. It's just fantastic. Like some of the trumpet is really like, da, 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 da. I mean, it's just real loud. Poet, of course, Family Affair. Family Affair. One child grows up to be somebody who loves to learn. Another child grows up being somebody who just loves to burn. I mean, what kind of a pop song would make that kind of a lyric when you realize that's maybe the darkest lyric in pop music at the time? I mean, who in the world would talk about that? That is so. But it just talking, seeing life in such a such a just a coin flip way, to be in a situation where you don't know if you're going to have a loving mother or father that's going to take care of you. You're going to get screwed over by life, and they're going to pick on you. They're going to facilitate it. It's crazy. I mean, it's just a crazy lyric. I mean, that maybe I'm reading too much into it, but to me, that's what it sounds like. And then, of course, Africa Talks to You, the Asphalt Jungle, just kind of the wind down, and you wind it on down to There's a Ride Going On, which is not really a song. The timing on it is 000, and you're scratching your head and wondering why. But they just wanted to make that statement at the end of that. Then you turn it over, and you're really into another whole raft of you know what. Brave and Strong is just blasting with the trumpets and the syncopated rhythm, and it's almost like a foreshadowing of some of the stuff that would come on Fresh later. You Caught Me Smiling, which was one of the singles I bought when I was young too. I loved it. I just loved the way it fell off, and you've got that little trickle down. I think it's fantastic. It's just gentle, and you've got the Cynthia singing at the same time, or Rose singing. It's really good. They didn't correct it. A couple things a little bit out of tune. They didn't correct it. It's just got such a raw in your face sound. Time, and of course, and then my favorite of all, Space Cowboy. You want to say a kiss off to the 1960s, buddy. And if you everything I like is nice, that's why I like to have it twice. I just think I love it, man. I've always loved it. And we would just when I was young, and I would drag people into my car, I would have it playing once in a while, and we just crank it up. And a few of us used to love to sing to it. It was great. Then, of course, Running Away, which was a huge hit with that. I referenced that trumpet line of Cynthia Robinson. Dun, 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 ba-da-da-da. It's just, it's memorable and a lot more musical than anything else you would hear from other bands. I mean, they really had arrangements. They had separate things going, and this was really the peak. And then you finish off the record with their dissolute fade out on Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself, which is Thank You for Talking to Me, Africa. And you've got yourself a classic record that had the attitude of, we don't give a shit. If you like it, you don't like it. Oh, here's a song we did before. Here's something that's half finished. Here's something that where we sound like we're coked out and we don't care. All of it works. All of it has a swagger. All of it has a confidence. This is. I've heard some people say before, and I don't really know. I mean, I've never been in that kind of a situation all the time, thank God. But people have said, that for people that did use drugs, that there was a period of time where drugs are working for them. Well, this would be in that period of time. Drugs work against you as things start to fall apart. Maybe you get the small talk and extra, and in some of the recent years in Poor Sly, he hasn't really had a real record since his time, and so we don't count anything after that. I do have a great early record called just Sly Stone something, and my friend Bobby Joe and he used to ride around his van. He used to have the 8-track of it. It's one of those things you picked up for like 99 cents or even cheaper than that back in the day. Had this thing called Rock Dirge. It's basically just ding, 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 ding. I don't know why we liked it. It was just kind of crazy, but it got a little funkier than that. But anyway, I love Sly and the Family Stone. I think their place in American music is well cemented. It's a shame that with some of the newer generation, you're not really sure how some of these genres and some of these things are going to wear. Certainly, I think they're less than other bands. I think they didn't come at a time where they were overly reliant on synthesizers. So I think their sound will stay and will become classic enough. And let's hope that they have a catalog which I think is worthy of investigation. At least the top half of it is. And I'd take anything really from my top half. As we review them down now, number one was There's a Ride Going On. Number two, Fresh 1973. Those are 5-star records. Number three, we've got Small Talk from 1974, which is a 4.5-star record. Stand as 1969, 4-star record. Dance to the Music, 68. Life from 1968, 3 stars. Heard You Miss Me from 76, Return, 3 stars. Whole New Thing, 1967, The Beginning record, 2.5 stars. Back on the Right Track in 1979 is very short. Return, 2.5 stars, and 2.2 stars for the 1982, not really there, or half there, record of Ain't But the One Way. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time, and thanks to you for checking me out, and we'll be back with something else new and some other stuff very soon. Thanks. Leave your comments below. Tell me how you feel. Thanks. I didn't say that last time. Thanks. Bye.